Hello everyone. So today we are doing this look right here. Hey. Super glowy. I do have some dewiness happening throughout the video because I put on a lot of marilla oil because my skin was feeling a little bit on the drier side. So I have already like my SPF and powder and all that stuff on prior to filming the tutorial portion, which is the eyes and then the rest of the face. So I'll list everything down below as always so that you can reference the list if you're interested in anything that I'm using, or screenshot it if you're interested. But today we are using the Viseart Color Theory palette in Cashmere, which looks like this, the cool tones from Viseart. This is the Color Theory that I got during the VIB sale, and I wanted to get this one to try because it's more cooler. I always stick to the warm tones. But I will take you through the eyes, and then of course this new highlighting thing that I've been doing. Loving it so much, and I will show you that towards the end of the video. So if you want to see how to do the eyes and the rest of the face, then keep watching. Alright guys, so we are going to do the eyes. I already have my face stuff on. I have my tinted SPF and my powder. I'll have everything listed down below that's on my face. I haven't done like blush, bronzer, and all that kind of stuff. I do have a little bit of lip liner on, but I wanted to do a look using the Viseart, the Color Theory that I got during the VIB sale. This is in the shade Cashmere. So those are the tones of the color. As you guys can see, very cool tone as opposed to the Minx, which is one of my favorites as well, and that's more of the warm tone ones. Alright, so my camera just completely shut off. If the first clip recorded, then I will include it. If not, then what I did was I just applied this light color all over my lids. I have no idea why my camera just shut off, the computer. So anyways, I took a Morphe E30 brush and applied this light matte ivory shade all over, all the way up to the brow, just to kind of set my concealer, make sure nothing is going to crease throughout the day. So to build up the crease, I'm going to go in with this tone right here. And this whole side here is matte, and then this side here is the shimmers. So I like that because it gives you some variety. You can do, one shadow looks. You can do something more dramatic. It gives you a nice deep smoky color, which is nice that you can use for liner. So it gives you a lot of colors to create lots of looks. So I'm going to use a Sigma E25 brush to apply this to my crease. And just picked up a little bit, and I'm just going to kind of work that back and forth. So as you can see, there's a lot of pigment behind these eyeshadows. And then I'm going to go back with that brush that I used to apply the white and go around the edges of everything. And so now I'm going to take that same eyeshadow color and a flat definer brush. This one is a really old one from Sigma. I don't even know what the new numbering is on these, but just any brush that's very flat and very dense. It's going to pick up a lot of color, and it's also going to deposit it right where I want it because the brush itself is not a very thick brush. So what I'm going to do is stamp that right at the root of my lower lash line. And if it looks a little harsh, it's okay because we're going to blend that out. And I'm doing it a little bit thicker right on this outer corner, and then a little bit thinner as we taper into the inner corner. And then with the Makeup Geek Outer V brush, I'm going to soften out the edges. I do have another pencil brush, but a lot of my brushes are really dirty and I have not cleaned them. So I'm going to just use the smallest brush I've got to blend this out. And I do want to add a little bit of depth and darkness to the lower lash line. I got something on. So what I'm going to do is take that same flat brush and this dark shade here, this one, which is a really deep, dark, kind of chocolatey brown. But I'm going to stamp that right at the root of my lash, right where the lashes meet the waterline. And I'm only going to do it on the outer portion of the eye. I'm not going to take this color in too far because it's going to be really dark. And it is super pigmented, that color. So I'm just going to use it on this outer half, basically. I did have a hair on it. I thought I had some rabbit fur on there because I have my rabbit in here. today with me, and his hair is literally everywhere. He's going through a molt phase, which is when they lose their hair because of the seasonal changes. So I've got him upstairs today. And again, just with that same brush, I'm going to go around the edges and make sure that both of them are just as dark and even. So basically halfway or so, and then right at the very point where I'm going to finish off with that dark color, I'm just using the very tip of my brush just to kind of fade that line so it's not like dark and then nothing, you know? You want that to look a little bit more kind of blended. And I'm going to do the highlight for the brow, and I'm going to use this shade here, which is the lightest and the shimmer on the shimmer side, and it's a pretty champagne color, really, really nicely. Of course, you can't see it because my finger was dirty with the other eyeshadows, but you get the idea. It's a very shimmery, light color, and I'm going to do it right at the high points of the brow. And I'm also going to do some of that color, or apply it right into the inner corner, just to kind of open up the eyes. Now, the other two shades in the palette look like this. One is a little bit more silvery, and then one is more of a kind of champagne-y type of color. So you have those two options that you could do. Obviously, if you do the silvery kind of taupe shade, which is this one here, it's going to look a little bit more kind of smoky. But I'm going to do this middle one. I'm going to start with that and see how it goes. And then if I want some more color, then I will add some of the other shade. But I'm going to use the same Sonia Kashuk brush. I just wiped it down. And I'm going to pat this all over my lid. And something I've noticed as I'm doing my eyeshadow is that I don't have any fallout from any of these, not even the dark ones. So I'm very pleased about that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is take some of that eyeshadow on the brush, and I'm going to spray it with my Evian spray so that I can foil this bad boy and make it look more, a little bit more intense, because I want it to pop a little bit more. So I'm going to start in the center of my lid, just kind of patting. And then lightly going into this inner portion here, so you can see, hopefully, it just has more of a pop, that shimmer. Oh yeah, I'm loving that. That is so pretty. I'm going to go back in with the same brush that I used to apply the middle crease color and just kind of soften everything out. Maybe add a little bit more of this shade. Now that I have my lid done, I can go in and add just a touch more right on the outer V. Alright, so for liner, I'm going to start by applying a little bit of eyeshadow first, and I'm going to use an angled liner brush. This is the Mikasa E100 brush, and I'm going to go in with the bottom shade, the darkest shade. And I'm going to start stamping this color right at the root of my lashes. And it's okay if it's a little bit thicker, because I'm going to blend out the edges to create kind of like a smokiness, the root of the lashes. Alright, and then I'm going to switch back to the outer V brush from Makeup Geek, and I'm going to soften this just a little bit. And if you pull it up a little bit higher onto your lid, it's okay, because I'm going to go in with some liquid liner. If you're going to do the same look, it's just going to create some smokiness around that liquid liner. And if you hear my dogs barking, it's because they see a dog outside. For liner, I'm going to use the Clinique Pretty Easy Liner. I love this stuff. This is the black one. It is such a good liner, and it is very easy to apply. And then I just did a very thin line right at the root of the lashes, so it makes the lash line look thicker. And for mascara, I'm going to use the usual combo, the Lash Paradise on the upper lashes. This is my favorite mascara. I love it so much. And then the Clinique Lash Power Mascara for the bottom lashes, which this is the best mascara for the lower lash line. I'll show you the brush so you guys can see it a little bit more up close. That is the brush for this mascara, and as you can see, it is so thin, and it's a perfect size for getting the lower lashes, which is why I use this for my lower lash line every single day. Alright, so now that the eyes are done, I need to add some bronzer to kind of perk up this complexion. I'm using my Chocolate Soleil bronzer. It's my go-to. It's the one that I use all the time. It is a matte bronzer, and it smells amazing. I think I say that every time because you open it and it's like immediately this whiff of chocolate. So good. I'm going to take a little bit of that onto the cheeks as well. And for blush, I'm going to use the Physicians Formula Mineral Wear Talc-Free Blush in the shade Natural. Haven't used this in quite some time. And it is matte, but it's a really soft matte. It's not a chalky matte formula at all. I really like it. And it also is talc-free, which is another good thing about it. And I'm just going to lightly just dust that onto the apples of my cheeks. Alright, so moving on to highlighter, I'm going to show you what I've been doing lately to make the cheekbones like super like beaming and pop. What I have done is applied the Becca Backlight Priming Filter on the tops of my cheekbone. This is a very shimmery primer, so I take some on the back of my hand. And you could use this all over your face, but because I do get a little bit of oil throughout the day, I know I do look super dewy is because I've slathered myself with the Drunk Elephant Marula oil because my face was feeling a little dry. We've turned the heat up a little bit higher lately. So anyways, I'm using the Delium Tools Face Sculpting Brush. I did a video on their new Studio 8 brushes, and I'm going to take that primer and I'm going to just stamp it right at the tops of my cheekbone. And if you wanted a subtle glow, you could just do that. Even though it's a primer, to give you a glow all over, you could still use it as your actual highlighter. I need a little bit more. And this brush is perfect because it's synthetic and it does apply the product very nicely and just more of like a airbrush finish. And then I've been using my Anastasia Glow Kit. This one in particular is called Gleam. It's no longer available, but the shade that I'm going to use is available in one of their more current glow kits, and it's the Starburst, which is the one that has that sort of pinky glow. I always use Crushed Pearl, but you can't get that one anymore. So the Starburst is available in their newer one that has like, I think it's like a pinky purpley kind of color on the outside with some glitter. And although this one has a sort of pinky tone to it, it doesn't show up pink on the cheeks, which is nice. And I love using the tapered highlighting brush number 941 from Delium Tools, which is super big and fluffy. It applies highlighter so perfectly, so I'm just going to just tap in a couple times. You don't need much, and go right over the cheekbones and add that glow. You see how it just makes it pop a little bit more? I mean, these highlighters from Anastasia don't really need a lot of help and don't need a lot of product underneath to make them show up, but if you wanted to take it up a notch, you could definitely do what I do and use that primer. I'm going to take a little bit down my nose and keep it all. Okay, now for lips, I have on this combo already, and I think I'm just going to touch up the gloss part. The Lip Cheat by Charlotte Tilbury in Pillow Talk. Love this. I use it on its own. It's like the perfect shade. It's like the color of my lips. And I have the Happ the Lip Slip on top of that, which is just a soft light pink, but it has a bit of a sheen and sparkle to it, so it makes your lips look super pretty. And I'm going to use my pinky finger and just kind of retouch, because I did line and fill my lips with the pencil, and it adds like a perfect tone. Sorry, I can't really talk while I'm doing this. But it's just a nice, pretty, kind of glossy, makes your lips look juicy and plump. I like to do this after using the Sara Happ lip scrub, which is the best lip scrub ever. And I love the way it makes the lips look super plump and juicy, like your lips are just naturally a little bit bigger, which I don't mind going a little bit around the edge of my lip line just to make them look a little bit more pouty, which you can do this if you get a liner that matches your lip color perfectly. You can do that and no one is ever going to know. Alright guys, so that completes today's tutorial. I hope that you enjoyed it. I do want to play around more with this Viseart palette and do something a little bit darker and smokier, but I do want to keep it a little bit on the lighter side just because I'm going out for some errands and I just don't feel like doing a whole ton of smokiness, but you could definitely take it up to that level with this darker shade here. You can add this color on the lid and make it a little bit more of a sort of more classic kind of silvery smoky eye, but I love these. The quality is really great. I also have their matte, the neutral matte one, and that's fabulous. Really great quality. A little bit pricey, so I would recommend if you're interested, waiting for the sales or whenever Viseart has specials and deals. If you follow them on Instagram, you can figure that out. Or when the VIB sale rolls around, you can save a few dollars on those. But I really enjoy them. I hope that you like this tutorial. I like the overall look. I think it looks pretty. It's a little different just because I do a lot of warm tone looks, and that's what I wear all the time. If I'm going to do a lot of eyeshadow, I'm always reaching for the warm tones. So it's nice to step out of my comfort zone and do something a little bit cooler. So rabbit fur flying everywhere. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for spending some of your day. Thank you for being you. Don't forget to subscribe for more videos like this in the future. And you can also follow me on social media. It's here on the screen. Have a fabulous weekend, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye-bye.